Welcome to Electrified. It's your host, Dylan Loomis. So, what's going on with Tesla? Well, per the usual, it's not just one factor, there are many factors right now at play. First, we have to understand that Wall Street is continuing to downgrade their expectations for Tesla's earnings per share both for 2025 and for 2026. The non-GAAP figure for this year is now $2.93, which is down from over $3 just a month ago. And for 2026, the number's down to $3.90, which was also well above $4 just a few months back. This really has been the trend for the last few years. The expectations for Tesla's EPS in 2025 just 2 years ago was over $8 per share. Translation, over the past 2 years, that metric has dropped over 65%. So, as I've been saying, until these revisions trend back up, it'll be tough to sustain any rally in Tesla stock without the underlying fundamentals to support it. And yes, I would argue fundamentals matter much less today than they did a decade or two ago as investors flock to growth in new industries like AI and supercomputing, but it should go without saying, EPS figures and valuation metrics are definitely not irrelevant. Another headwind for Tesla stock right now when it comes to Q1 delivery figures, Troy Teslike is below 400,000. I won't reveal the specific number, that's for patrons only, but the Wall Street consensus is still up at around 430,000. Now that is starting to trend down and will likely continue to throughout the quarter. And expectations aside, we have to remember Q1 is going to be weak given the changeover to the new Model Y at 4 factories at the same time. The way I see it right now, we really won't have a clear read on Tesla's demand until the second half of this year because Q2 may pick up to the upside given all of these people waiting for their new Model Y deliveries. The demand picture should be more normalized by Q3. We're also now contending with Elon and his investor group's bid for OpenAI of just under $100 billion, which brings some uncertainty to how Elon will handle his Tesla stock going forward. The question becomes, if this deal were to somehow go through, which does seem somewhat unlikely, then Elon may sell some Tesla stock to finalize the deal. And we can't forget that Elon said he wants to have 25% voting control at Tesla, which right now he doesn't have. If he had to sell Tesla, he would be even further away from that threshold, and we're still waiting on the outcome for Tesla's appeal for Elon's 2018 pay plan, which yes, is all just uncertainty. And today it was widely reported that BYD is set to roll out its latest advanced driver system called God's Eye across the majority of its lineup. More than 24 models now include this feature, and it will come as standard with no price increase. And Gary Black has to be jumping for joy over there right now because BYD literally said in the press conference that it was democratizing consumer car autonomy, which is the drum that Gary has been banging now for years. All BYD cars priced above about 14,000 US dollars will come equipped with the God's Eye system at no extra cost. But here's what I don't see too many people talking about. There are 3 different tiers for this God's Eye system. There's a top tier, which uses 3 LiDAR sensors in the suite, but that's only going to be for BYD's luxury brand Yang Wang. Then there's the mid tier, which will go on different vehicles and only use 1 LiDAR sensor. That will also utilize about half of the compute power needed for the top tier. And then there's the entry level, or God's Eye C as they call it, which uses no LiDAR at all, taking the Tesla approach using a camera-based vision system. And that one uses 1/3 of the compute power of the mid-tier option. So this entry-level suite comes with 12 cameras, 5 radars, and then 12 ultrasonic sensors. The chairman of BYD said that without relying on expensive LiDAR sensors, so the entry-level suite, the cars would be able to operate autonomously on fixed routes for daily commuters in major Chinese cities with heavy traffic by the end of this year. So for that option, it sounds like there's some level of geofencing potentially in play. Part of the problem here is we don't have very much real-world video footage translated to English to really understand the capabilities of this God's Eye system. And it is very new, but in the months ahead, we'll likely get a few videos, but like all marketing from every company, there's usually some discrepancies between that material and wording and the current real-world capability. But make no mistake, BYD BYD's investment of $6 billion toward autonomy in 2024 is starting to show up in the marketplace, and now we'll just do our best to see how far along they really are. Plus, the longer Tesla's FSD is delayed in China without any clarity, the more the market is going to discount Tesla's advantage with FSD, specifically in the Chinese market, until they can prove otherwise. And we've made the cost argument plenty of times about how much cheaper Tesla's system is going to be, but this won't be the case in China. The government in China is clearly making a huge push toward autonomy, and they're likely to subsidize that industry heavily to push at least a few winners to the forefront of the autonomous race. Profitability of autonomous systems will certainly matter in the long run, but if Chinese EV companies are kept afloat long enough with subsidies and incentives, while they drive down the cost for LiDAR and radar, then Tesla's cost advantage in China may not be as meaningful for the foreseeable future. Again, at least in the Chinese market. And for what it's worth, BYD has not explicitly said what SAE level their God's Eye was, but the expectation is it will be level 2 or level 2 plus, as it still requires driver supervision. And then we also have some insider selling of Tesla stock over the past few weeks. Today, people are reporting about Kimball's sale, but that actually took place last week. Those are just a few of the main headwinds for Tesla stock right now in my eyes, and we're now at a 33% drawback from the recent all-time high. Over the past year or two, I really got away from talking about Tesla stock because I don't want people copying what I'm doing or looking to me for specific guidance, but I do miss talking about it, and I think just sharing my thoughts may have some value in certain contexts. In this case, looking at Tesla stock dating back to October of last year, the RSI has only dipped below 32 times, once back in January earlier this year, and again right now. Which, for me, if I have capital available, that's almost always a great buying opportunity. However, that's for a long-term investor, because if you bought the last time the RSI dipped below 30, you'd be buying around 368, and the stock did have a nice run up after that, but today it'd still be lower than that entry point, which is why 97% of my investment activity in Tesla is focused on the long term. We have the mayor of Toronto saying she'll be moving a motion to ban Tesla from the list of vehicles that would qualify for just under a $5 million licensing fee grant program that's aimed at encouraging taxi drivers to buy EVs. She said the move would go into effect on March 1st because Tesla is a very popular brand, and said there's no reason the city should be providing subsidies for it. That alone, of course, won't have any outsized impact on Tesla, but we also have Jagmeet Singh now saying he wants to put 100% tariffs on Tesla in Canada. He's also calling to shut down the supply of critical minerals from Canada to the US. So now it's not just Chrystia Freeman asking for 100% tariffs on Tesla, but we have some other people as well. And it's not just Tesla raising prices in Canada, but Rivian has just announced it's increasing the prices of the R1T and the R1S in Canada by up to $10,000 on February 25th. Rivian laid out the reason plain as day, due to the changes in the exchange rate between the US and Canada, as we highlighted recently. We got the weekly number for Tesla China. It came in at 6,200 units for the week, and comparing that to the same week in Q4, that number was 17,300. I would just say comparing Q1 to Q4 is a foolish errand overall, but for what it's worth, quarter over quarter, Tesla China is down 36%. The number for week 6 of Q1 last year was 5,600. Which, yes, was during a holiday, but now year over year, Tesla China is down 16.4%. The breakdown for the week: 2,400 Model 3s, 3,800 Model Ys, and again, throughout all of Q1, these numbers are likely to be depressed as we change over to the new Y. And we got the domestic number for January in China. It was 33,703, which left 29,535 vehicles for export. Thus, for the month of January, the wholesale figure is down 13% year over year, the domestic figure is down 18% year over year, and the export figure is down 6.4% year over year. Things at Tesla right now are volatile, with the stock, with Elon's favorability, with EPS expectations, and yet I think most of us would agree there's a steadiness in the midst of the noise if you know what to look for and what to focus on. The same holds true in life. No matter the season, there are things like sleep, human connection, moving moving your body and feeding your body well that can carry you through chaotic times. Which is where I'm at personally right now, and in these times, AG1, the sponsor of this video, becomes even more valuable to have in my arsenal. Before you skip ahead, if you've had questions about lead in AG1, I wanted to address that. AG1 tests for over 500 pesticides and herbicides with more than 75 additional contaminants and toxins, including heavy metals. Lead does occur naturally in many whole and organic foods, so anything that comes from the ground has potential for some heavy metals. But you can rest assured that every batch of AG1 is tested to ensure any level of heavy metal is below the guidelines set by USP and NSF. And you can verify this. AG1's testing protocols and their certificate of analysis is on their website to show that AG1 is well within those safety guidelines. And in about 20 seconds, I can make sure that every day I'm getting over 100% of my daily value for vitamin C, E, thiamine, riboflavin, niacin, B6, folate, B12, biotin, zinc, and that's in addition to AG1's proprietary blend, the one that's been steadily improved over a decade of research sourced from whole food ingredients. With the welcome kit, you'll get some travel packs in the vitamin D3K2, so if you'd like to try it for yourself and see why 97% of participants felt more energy after 30 days, you can head to drinkag1.com/electrified linked below, or you can use my QR code on the screen. Enjoy. Tesla Asia announced the first Megapack rolled off the production line at the Megafactory Shanghai and will soon ship to Australia. We also have a finance publication from China reporting the welding automation rate of the welding workshop at the Megapack factory has reached more than 90%. Unfortunately, I was not able to find what that rate might be at Lathrop to compare, but the publication did share a fun fact that Tesla energy products have been used in more than 65 countries and regions. And recently on X, Jennifer Gonzalez, the governor of Puerto Rico, was announcing that the contract for new battery storage systems that is in partnership with Tesla has finally been signed. In case you forgot, the news of this project came out in October of last year, and this was a project that will use 1.7 gigawatt hours of Tesla Megapacks. And this Genera Puerto Rico that's part of this project does operate the majority of the power generation capacity in Puerto Rico. This will be a $767 million project, and Tesla was selected following an auction process involving 130 companies. The capacity of this battery storage project is equivalent to the island's largest power plant currently in operation. The project includes installing Megapacks at 6 different power plants. The first units are expected to arrive in July, with operations beginning by the end of the year, and then the full system deployment is expected by Q1 2027. The CEO of Genera said the signing of this agreement with Tesla marks a groundbreaking change in Puerto Rico's energy transformation. This unprecedented investment in our energy infrastructure is a firm step towards a sustainable future. And Puerto Rico's Energy Czar confirmed this is the largest battery project currently under development in the US, according to Tesla. And just to double down, the fact that Tesla was chosen out of 130 companies bidding on this job tells us everything you need to know about Tesla's competitive place in the energy market. Tesla Owners Mexico has reported that Tesla's FSD has been released for the first time ever in Mexico. As Kalina from Tesla said today, when she started at Tesla, they only had 1 country in the world with FSD. Now Tesla has 4. The US, Canada, Mexico, and Puerto Rico. And listen, there's a huge debate around if Puerto Rico is a part of the United States, and if so, how much. But for now, officially, it is a US territory. What this effectively means is someone could now take a road trip that's over 5,500 miles completely with Tesla's FSD from the most southern part of Mexico to the most northern part of Canada, or of course, vice versa. So, Kyle and crew from Out of Spec, I think you guys are up with your next video series. The only screenshot I found for FSD in Mexico is version 13.2.6 on the Cybertruck. I'm guessing by now most of you have seen this video on the new Model Y with Franz, Lars, and Jay Leno. In case you missed it, it'll be below. The only new things I really learned, the dual motor rear wheel drive and the performance and 7-seat variants will be coming later this year. The Matrix headlights are equipped and the functionality should be coming to the US later this year, which will be the first time for any automaker in the US. There are micro deposits of silver on the roof to better deflect heat. And in the video here, you can actually see that the parcel shelf, which is used for privacy, can fold up and fit in the sub-trunk storage. Bluetooth headsets will be able to connect to the rear screen, and now the brake pedal doesn't actually move when you're on autopilot, it always stays in the same place. And I'm not sure if it was a slip of the tongue, but Franz did say that cybercabs will be rolling around in June in the Texas area. So I think many of us thought it might be some Model Ys and some Model 3s, but it could actually be the cybercab. Max from Tesla Supercharging was responding to a post from Sawyer, and he confirmed that the average Tesla supercharger stall costs between $40,000 and $45,000 to deploy. In terms of the first sites with these new V4 cabinets, Max said the engineering is working weekends on it, aiming for the first pilot sites in Q3. Despite increased capability of up to 500 kilowatts per stall, we should be able to deploy it for less than $40,000 per stall. This means we have another 5 or 6 months before we start seeing some true V4 locations go live. We've known Tesla superchargers are the most cost-effective option by far, but that 40,000 number looks even better when you see that Revel and some of the competition are still installing stalls at a cost of $225,000 per stall. Sharing a post from Home Mars on FSD, Elon said it only gets better from here. Tesla is still on track to launch autonomous ride-hailing in Austin in June and roll out to many cities in America by the end of this year. The threshold is achieving safety far in excess of the average human. Ultimately, autonomous cars will be over 1,000% safer than human-driven cars. Which brings me to this situation. Jonathan Challenger said that his Cybertruck crashed into a curb and then a light post on FSD version 13.2.4, which would be one of maybe 2 or 3 accidents on version 13. I know Bradford from Rebellionaire was in one late last year, but he was actually rear-ended. So here's the photo proof that Jonathan shared. I would just add, looking at Jonathan's profile on January 1st of this year, he said, having crashed mine, talking about his Cybertruck, he can confirm that it crumples just fine. I share that because some people are saying, well, this guy crashed his Cybertruck twice in 2 months, so how trustworthy really is this person? I would just add, there's at least a chance the crash actually happened back at the beginning of January and he just didn't share the details until now. We don't have anything concrete right now, but hopefully we can all use this as a reminder to stay vigilant. He said it failed to merge out of a lane that was ending and made no attempt to slow down or turn until it had already hit the curb. This is the intersection where it happened, and yes, this seems like horrific planning, and yes, in these scenarios, it would be great if we had concrete evidence that FSD was engaged at the time of the crash. So just use that video and this one as a reminder to pay attention, don't get lazy. You'll see this small stop sign on the right and Cybertruck go right through it at 20 miles per hour. Cases like this are obviously infrequent, but they're the very reason that I keep saying unsupervised FSD is not yet solved. Peter Rawlinson came out and said he wants Lucid to be 20% car company, 80% tech supplier. There were hints about Lucid potentially shifting more of its business toward the supplier side, but this is almost an outright entirely new business model. Peter said we just need the cars as a shop window for our product. They're saying they're still targeting making 1 million cars per year by the early 2030s, but Peter made it clear the main reason Lucid is selling cars at all is to market its underlying technology. In case you live in Wisconsin, there is hope. Tesla has filed a petition in your state to finally allow direct-to-consumer sales. For now, there's set to be a hearing on March 24th. Tesla Energy just posted they've produced over 1,500 Powerwalls in a 24-hour shift. Back on November 12th of last year, which is just about 3 months ago, Tesla Energy said they had built 1,000 Powerwalls in a single day, which means in 3 months, Giga Nevada has increased the Powerwall output per day from 1,000 up to 1,500. Now, this does not mean that they're producing 1,500 Powerwalls every day. It may just be a burst rate, but either way, even if it is a burst rate, that's a 50% improvement in daily output in just 3 months. Tesla stock closed the day at $328.50, down 6.34%, while the Nasdaq was down 0.36%. It was a higher volume day, trading 53% above the average. Don't forget, check out AG1 linked below for those interested. As always, thank you to everybody who supports the channel by checking out these sponsors. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. Please like the video if you did. You can find me on X linked below. And a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters.